Happy Valentine's Day, all my dear chickadees. I'm glad we're spending the day together here, or at least a little part of it. And I figured what would be best for Valentine's Day than to possibly end a Pact with Me playthrough, because we are on part 6 now. If you haven't seen the other parts, go check it out on my channel. They're all up on there, and I want you guys to be able to follow along with what's happening. But we are going to be going into Chapter 6, and Chapter 6 is the last chapter of the game. And I think we've been gearing towards all good endings. I don't know. There are 14 possible endings in this game, I do believe. So, we're at least going to get a couple of them today. Now, buckle in and we'll dive back into this hellish world we have here. Let's talk to Lucy. Haven't you bothered me enough? Okay, he's done with us. He's like, I've had enough talking to you. Okay. Let's start with our musician boy, Renin. Chapter 5. I traveled to visit Renin at his place of residence. In the middle of the room, the magician was occupied with watching something on his laptop. Only when I sat next to him did he realize my presence. Hey. I was caught off guard when he greeted me with a smile. Are you feeling unwell? This is the first time I've seen you happy while greeting me. I was just trying to be nice. Now, where did that smile go? I poked his cheeks in an attempt to get the smile to come back. Instead, I was given a scowl. I laughed at his reaction before resting my head on his shoulder. Oh, that's cute! My gaze landed on his laptop screen. He was watching a video, but since it was paused, I couldn't make out what it was. What are you looking at? The question made Renin jump from his seat before he closed his laptop shut. That reaction. Were you watching a naughty video? Of course not. Doesn't matter what I was watching. It's none of your business. Even though he acted like he didn't care, it was obvious that he was flustered by my playful question. I was actually watching a video about how to play the organ. There's an expedition nearby that has one, and visitors could try playing on it. I see. Huh. Is that all you have to say? What else is there to add, for me to add? I thought it was normal for you to learn to play new instruments. But I'm learning this one for you. Aw, he's learning it for us? When Renin raised his voice, I was confused. The context of what he said surprised me even more. For me? Before, didn't you say that you liked the sound organs make? As I ran through my memories, I finally understood what he was talking about. A grin was now spread across my face as I playfully raised both eyebrows at him. Aren't you trying to act cute doing all this for me? I mean, it's the least I could do to return the favor. Your soul is already at the end of the bargain, so you don't have to give me anything else. Still, if I wanted to listen to the sound of organs, I would have visited a cathedral. You can step inside a cathedral? Aren't they like demon repellent? You think a little man-made building could stop me? Anyway, it's unnecessary to learn an instrument for me. Do what you want to do for yourself. But it feels different. Playing music for a person who's special to you, or listening to the special person playing a musical piece for you. I find both of those actions sweet. So you view me as someone special now? I was only teasing him, but I was surprised when Renin didn't deny it like he usually would. I wondered if he really did see me as someone special. My own thoughts made my heart clench as a wave of unsettling emotions overcame me. This feeling is the same that I felt a century ago. Renin, what do you see me as? The blush on his face made me worry about what he was going to say next. You're just a demon who's helping me out. There was dishonesty in his voice, but I wasn't going to read his thoughts to find out the truth. Yeah, I think he's a little scared to find out the truth because he doesn't want to fall in love again because he fell in love with a human and it devastated him when he died. So he's trying to run away from any feelings because I didn't want to hear it. That was for the best. There shouldn't be anything else between us aside from our pact. Anyway, how's it going with your career? It's going well. Ever since that concert, my phone's been blowing up. There are quite a few articles about me as a guest performer that helped get my name out. A lot of people have been listening to my songs and spreading the word too. I watched as the musician lit up as he talked about his success. Usually fame would change a person, but you don't look like you've changed. I mean, all I wanted was to stand on a stage and for people to listen to my music. A smirk spread across my face as I nudged him with my elbow. So, you earning good money now? Why would you ask me that? You make money when people listen to your songs, right? But it hasn't been that long since I had this newfound success, so it's still the same. Oh, that's too bad. Why do you sound disappointed? I wanted you to buy me some cakes. I didn't think that you liked cake, let alone our food. Feasting on human delicacies is not so bad once in a while. Are you not allowed to buy a cake for yourself? I could, since I can gain money with my abilities, but that's not fun. I want you to treat me instead. I guess it's the same feeling as what you said about someone special playing music for you. Without saying a word, the musician got up from his seat. Where are you going? Let's go to a bakery. You wanted cake, right? It's cheap, and I can afford it even if I'm not rich. The fact that he was genuinely going through with my request touched me. Instead of giving him one of my playful remarks, all I did was nod. I could feel my cheeks burning. Today felt a little off. Since we were about to leave, Renin walked up to the door to swing it open. It was then that we noticed a strange man standing right outside. I quickly hid my presence to remain undetected. Is this his dad? It is! Dad? What are you doing here? I came to see you. But you've never visited me, even once before. It was plainly obvious that Renin was still upset with the fraternal figure since his tone was filled with hurt and betrayal. When I called you the other day, you didn't even care to hear about my performance. Yes, but now I know that I was wrong about you, son. I saw you on the television. I was surprised to see my own son performing for a large crowd. Renin's fists clenched tight as they trembled from the tension. You weren't there for me all those years, but now you're suddenly here for me because you saw me on the TV? That's because I finally know that you're capable and talented. I want to congratulate you and tell you to keep following your dreams. Well, I wish I'd gotten your support long ago when I needed it most. I'm sorry. Oh, as his father spread his arms wide to go in for a hug, Renin slapped them away. I don't need your comfort. I don't need it anymore. Renin, I'm really sorry. You know what your mother did to me. That's why I thought being a performer was an impossible dream to achieve. But you proved me wrong. Dad, just one question. Are you proud of me? Of course I am. Renin sobbed inside his arms as more tears welled in his eyes. You're finally proud of me. I waited for this moment to come for so long. The older man rushed in to pull his son in an embrace, but this time he wasn't pushed away. I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I never told you the truth about why I hated musicians so much. The thing is, I was a performer back in the day as well. You were? Yes. I was in a rock band together with your mother. I was the drummer, actually. Then why? You know the story. I've been telling you all this time that your mother didn't make it as a singer. But I never mentioned that I didn't make it either. All the money and time I'd wasted on a failed career drove me insane. I called it quits, but your mother didn't want to give up on her dreams. That's why she left me. Back then, I was so ashamed of my unsuccessful career that I removed every evidence that I was a performer. So ashamed that I twisted the story around and lied to you. I hated musicians ever since, thinking that this dream was only given to people who were rich. But you proved me wrong, son. You showed me that hard work and determination will lead to success. I was so proud of you when I saw you on TV. After absorbing all the newfound information, Renin finally smiled. Thank you for telling me all this, Dad. It's about time I do. I'm sorry for hiding it from you. From now on, I promise to give you all my support. I will never make the same mistake. The father and son duo reconciled and chatted for a few more minutes. Since it wasn't my place, all I did was watch from afar. Well then, now that I congratulated you, my job here is done. It was great catching up with you, kiddo. Yeah. Hey, come visit your old man at home sometime, alright? The house feels lonely without you. I will. Oh, I almost forgot. I ran into someone who was just standing by your door earlier, though they left as soon as they saw me. That's odd. I rarely have any visitors. Yeah, I didn't catch their face either since they were wearing a mask. Oh no, it was the guy. Anyway, I saw them sticking a letter through your door gap, so I took it. The older man then passed the said letter to his son. An audible gasp could be heard when Renin read out loud what was on it. Don't ever perform again. Is this a threat? Does someone have a grudge against me? Like, remember, his costume that he was gonna wear at his performance disappeared, too, so. You made enemies? Not that I know of. But the other day, after I performed at a concert, an aggressive man approached me out of spite. Oh yeah, that too, I forgot. Maybe there are others like him, who aren't keen on my sudden rise to stardom. Guess you could have said that receiving hate and threats are part of the deal in exchange for fame. This means you've made it, son. I'm not sure if you should be making light of this. That's only because it doesn't sound that concerning. It's kind of concerning that they know where you live. Okay? They know where you live. That's the concerning part. If I were you, I wouldn't worry about it. It just seems like a random, baseless threat. Ignore it. Nothing will happen. I hope you're right. After reassuring his son, the father bid him farewell before leaving the apartment. Now that the visitor was gone, I was able to approach Renin freely. Beliel, what about you? What do you think about this letter? Okay. Oh no, I can't save! Okay, yeah, okay, this is how I save. Log, no, return. Options, save, okay. Haha! Okay. This might be serious. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna say it might be serious, because I think it might be serious. Yeah, I thought so. In the midst of our discussion, we heard someone knocking on the door. Is it Dad again? Or do I have a visitor? As Renin opened the door, I noticed a familiar face standing right outside. Oh, it's his fan. Quotation marks. Hi. Maya, what are you doing here? More importantly, how do you know where I live? Well, nowadays you can look up a registered address as long as you know someone's full legal name. But it's not information I'd disclose publicly. Sorry, I just wanted to contact you, face to face because I want to get you a gift. It's a homemade smoothie. Don't drink it. Don't drink it. My senses are tingling. Renin looked confused as he stared blankly at the drink. Why would you go out your way to find my address to give this to me? Before the visitor could answer, I squeezed in between the two to greet her. Only one cup, no beverage for me. Maya grimaced when she saw me, and I knew then that she didn't seem too pleased. Why is his friend here? Weirdly enough, she put the supposed gift behind her back. Oh yeah, it's dosed. It is dosed to like sleeping medicine or something. Isn't that drink for me? I will give it to you another time. Her attention returned to me as she stared attentively at my face. That was when I realized something was off about her expression. The two of you aren't in a relationship, are you? Whether we are or not, it shouldn't matter to you. But Maya then proceeded to mumble something, but it was inaudible. Look, you're interrupting us, so please leave. Without uttering another word, she nodded before heading out of the apartment. Don't you think it's really rude to kick her out? Well, it had to be done since I didn't like the look in that human's eyes. I guess so. Something feels off about her. I thought she was nice at first, but finding and coming to my address is just too far. I think we need to pack up and move to a new address. Yes, ASAP. Could she have been the one to send you that threat? Even if she did, why wouldn't she want me to perform if she's a fan? It doesn't make sense. Quite the odd case indeed. Perhaps I should stay with you in case someone else who poses the threat comes over. You're worried about my safety? If you died before our pack ends, I wouldn't be able to harvest your soul. So you're only concerned about me because of my soul. Looking at her expression, it was obvious that Renin was disappointed with me. Regardless of our deal, it's natural that I would be concerned for you. You are my human, after all. Is that so? Even if his face didn't show it, I could tell he was happy with my answer. Later, I went back to hell. I couldn't deny any longer that I'd got myself attached to a human. I needed to accept that. If I fell for the same demise as a century ago, I wonder if I'd be able to cope again. You've been staring at those orbs for a long time now. Since I had my focus somewhere else, I didn't even realize Lucifer got up from his throne to stand beside me till now. You're really fond of humans, aren't you? Yes. And you're not even denying it anymore. Are you about to reprimand me like always? No, I've given up on it since you never listened to me. The disappointment in his tone made me feel a twinge of dismay. Why do you constantly keep seeking pleasure and companionship from humans when you know the consequences of your actions? Other demons seek entertainment from them too. Yes, they play around with humans, but those feelings don't include love, unlike yours. Love. It was odd to mouth the words, I love humans. If affection is what you desire, why not seek it from other demons? Like me. Hello? Confused, I looked straight into his eyes, but he had the same stern expression on his face. You know very well it's not possible since I'm just a subordinate to you. You're right. For a second there, I thought I saw disappointment flash across his face. Oh, Lulu wants us! Seems like there's no need for me to monitor you, since you'll keep doing whatever you want. I'm leaving your room permanently. And since I already fed you, I don't have to worry about your life fading anytime soon. After parting with those words, Lucifer disappeared. Ah! I thought we were gonna get like an ending from that. Guess there's gonna be another part, huh? Ooh. Okay, let's roll into our next human. Let's go to our sweet baby boy, Lior. He may be my favorite. Before I went to Lior, there was something I needed to clear up. I wanted to know why he was cursed. I couldn't believe I didn't take into consideration when I first heard the abnormalities surrounding the human. A curse and a pact were similar in a way, both being bound to demons. For a pact to happen, it must be agreed by a human willingly to give their soul away in exchange for a demon's aid. Meanwhile, a curse occurred when someone sacrificed the soul of a blood relative instead of their own for the same power. But because it was offering someone else instead of a direct transition, The person who got cursed will suffer severe consequences. They will never be able to live normally. It was no difficult task to locate the Demon King. Well, I mean, he left our room, so... I met someone who was cursed by you. Don't tell me it's one of the humans you formed a pact with. It is. That is troublesome indeed. Why would you choose my target out of everyone else? Because he was miserable. But at this moment, I didn't care about my little blunder. I just wanted to know why Lior was cursed. I pointed to one of the orbs that sat on the table. That's Lior. You recognize him, right? Lucifer examined the features of the human as he pondered for a bit. Yes, I think I do. I inflicted multiple curses throughout my lifetime, but I never witnessed anything as strong as his. Everyone who looked him in the eye despised him. That boy isn't able to live a normal life. I'm well aware. My curse is stronger than any other demon's, after all. But why? Curses rarely happen, so why did you inflict it on him? Why do you sound upset, Beliel? Whatever happens to our fodder is none of our concern. But this is too far, don't you think? Well, that curse is not my own doing. It was a request from that boy's mother. What? What? He got that curse because of his mom? What? She was the one who sacrificed him to me since his birth. Her wishes include wealth, eternal youth, and a face that'll make anyone fall in love. My point is that she wanted everything. So in turn, she bargained her son's soul instead of her own. So then, why would you place a powerful curse on him? I can't control my powers. In a way, I'm also cursed to cause calamity. The one who's cruel is the mother herself, not me. As long as the boy lives and suffers, the woman will benefit from it as she can continue to make use of our pack. But if his soul's already in exchange, we can't eat him. He's not our meal ticket. So how are we able to make a pact for his soul if his soul was already bartered away? If that boy were to die right this moment, no longer will she gain wishes from me. So she has been keeping him like human livestock all this time. I don't understand how she could put her son through this when she could offer her own soul. Humans are much more greedy than us demons. Imagine how strong her desires were. She could have summoned any other demon, but she summoned me, the king of hell. After absorbing this, I started to walk out of the room. Wait. Upon hearing the command, I obeyed as I stood still on the spot. How much do you care about that boy? I'll refrain from answering your question. Beliel, how many times do I have to warn you not to get emotionally involved with a human? What do I do then? Just stand there and watch? Whatever happens to the humans is none of our concern. Also, his soul is mine, so give up on him. I'll think about it. Lucifer let out a frustrated grunt, but I wasn't about to budge. Don't do anything reckless. Is that all you have to say? Then I'll be taking my leave. So, we can't get his soul. We can't get his soul at all. But we're still going back to visit the boy because we care about him. Oh. Oh. Poor baby. I traveled to visit Lior at his place of residence. He was curled up in a ball on the floor. Now that I know what happened, I understood why he always seemed so miserable. When his eyes landed on me, sadness disappeared from his face and he passed me a big grin. You came to visit! This human, no matter what he went through, he had the energy to smile. Is he this innocent because he has been alienated from society? I found out that the reason you're cursed is because of your mother. My mother? Lior stares at me with disbelief before shaking his head to deny the claim. It can't be. She cares about me. Care? That's the furthest from the truth. Didn't you tell me that you barely see her? Then why would she keep sending money to me then? Because you are being treated like livestock. You live so that she can earn wishes beyond her wildest dreams. Wishes? Does that mean she also made a pact with a demon? Yes, with the king of hell himself. But instead of offering her own soul, she offered yours, along with your livelihood. My soul? Lior hugged his arms as he took in the information. If my soul has already been offered, what will you earn from me? This question shocked me. Out of everything he could have said, why this? Why are you thinking about me? You should be more concerned about yourself. But our pact... Yes, true, I will no longer have any use for you since I'll be getting nothing. I stare at the human, wondering what to do next. Okay. We are saving... Okay. I will stay with you. I am going to leave you. We're... He is not going to get any food out of this, but we already have 2 other souls lined up, okay? So we could be friends with him, right? We can just be friends with him and pop in and be like, hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, he needs somebody in his life, even if it's a demon trying to make his life a bit better. So, I will stay with you. You will? Even though I have nothing to give you? Yes. Aww. Out of nowhere, he pounced on top of me for a hug. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying with me. I don't know what I would do without you. Why are you thanking me? Because of the curse, I can't grant you the happiness you seek. You deserve to be happy after all that you went through. That's not true. Being with you makes me the happiest. You already granted my wish. Even though I want so much more, I shouldn't be selfish. Having you by my side is all that I could ever ask for. I returned the embrace and I held him in my arms. Really, how can I leave him when he acts like this? The most I can do is keep him accompanied until his death. Maybe it's a good thing I was cursed. Maybe it was a good thing I lived such a sad existence. Because that grief is what led me to summon you. If it wasn't for that, we probably would never have met. Are you aware of what you're saying? If it weren't for those factors, your life wouldn't have been as miserable. No, my life is not that depressing anymore because I have you now. So please, please don't ever leave me. I caressed his back in an attempt to reassure him. I won't. I promise. Lior's grip on me tightened. Even though I couldn't see his face, I knew he was smiling. Thank you for being my friend. Later, I went back to hell. Ah! Okay, Leo, he is still the cinnamon bun of the story, okay? He's a sweet baby angel that doesn't deserve everything that happened to him. Ah. Okay, let's go to Shiloh. Oh, actually, we're on chapter 5, not chapter 6. Whoops. I thought we were on chapter 6. But chapter 5 seems to have been being pretty dang short. I traveled to visit Shiloh at his place of residence. Shiloh did nothing but nod when he noticed my presence. I couldn't deny the awkwardness in the room since there was still some tension left between us ever since the car accident. I'm glad you came. Yeah, there we are in demon form, because he prefers us in demon form. We still have a pact that connects us, after all. Right. Silence filled the room as I avoid looking directly at the businessman. So, have you thought about my confession? I closed my eyes as I reminisced about our time together. I did find Shiloh to be an intriguing man, but I can't deny that I grew addicted to his presence at some point. It was just natural for a demon to be attracted to an evil human. Regardless of how I feel about you, I will have to refrain from answering. I thought my response would put him off, but instead, Shiloh gently touched my cheek before lifting my face up till our eyes met. The fact that you aren't outright denying me means that you don't hate me. Am I correct? It's not possible for me to despise you. That is all I wanted to hear. The sincerity in his tone made me more aware of my feelings towards the man. What I spoke of was the truth. I couldn't bring myself to hate or ignore him. We were interrupted by a knock on the door. Oh, a security guard. Are you in there, sir? Yes. What is it that you need? There's a young boy who wants to see you. A child? Do you have an illegitimate son? I would never do such a thing. You never know. When you were fooling around, there could have been an accident that you weren't aware of. I teased the businessman, but his reaction was unexpected. Instead of the usual grin, he smiled at me sweetly. I'm glad you feel comfortable enough around me to get back to your playful self. Yes, again. Oh, he's blushing. It hurts me whenever you're cautious and cold with me. Something about seeing genuine happiness from the man made my heart squeeze. He's a dangerous man with multiple sides to him. Now that this conversation is making me curious about something, may I ask you a question? Depends. I'll answer if I feel like it. Whoop! Getting close again? Oh, look! Look at the little spikes on top of his ears. That's really cool. I was in for a surprise when I suddenly felt a hand on my waist. Then I might as well ask, to put it bluntly, are you able to reproduce? Shiloh! Shiloh! No! Really? He's like, are you able to reproduce? You want to have babies with us? We are a male. Of course, I don't know if demons can reproduce like that. I mean, maybe we can. I don't know. But Shiloh, we turned you down and you're straight too. Can you have children? Oh my gosh, creepy boy, go away. Generally speaking, no. Demons don't have the ability, but we are able to engage in intimate activities. If you can't bear children, yet you have a reproductive organ. Indeed. Is that hard to understand? Well, I don't believe you. Let me check. Shiloh! I grabbed his wrist before it could travel down my hips. You sly bastard. I'm aware of what you're attempting. You know me so well. Then will you satisfy my curiosity, Beliel? He got so distracted we didn't answer security guard about the child. Oh my gosh. Focus, Shiloh, focus! I know you have a hot demon next to you, but focus! We heard a knock on the door for a second time. Sir, I'm still here. Shiloh moved away from me before clearing his throat. I couldn't believe we got so caught up in the moment that we forgot about the security guard by the door who could overhear us. Do you have a visitor? Shall I ask the guest to leave? Who exactly is my guest? His name is Joel, and he claims to be the son of a very important client of yours. What could he possibly want with me? He didn't specify. All he said that he wanted to meet you, sir. Oh. What if he's the son of the guy that we got killed? The businessman pondered for a few seconds. Alright, we'll see what's going on. Bring him into my room. Yes, sir. After a few minutes had passed, there was a third knock at the door. Sir, he is here. Let him in. The security guard pushed opens the door before ushering a teenager inside the room. Then the guard left and closed the room to give us some privacy. Upon seeing Shiloh, the young boy bowed. Hello, sir. My name is Joel. You said your father is an important client of mine. Who is he? It's Cohen. The entrepreneur snickered as soon as he heard the name. Here I was, wondering why a son of a client would show up at my doorstep. You guys ran a business together for years, right? You must be close to him. Please help me, mister. My apologies, but I want nothing to do with that disgraced man anymore. No, my father is not a disgraced man. Someone is spreading fake rumors about him. I just know it. Mom and everyone else believes those lies, but I won't. He's dead. What are you trying to gain here? Oh, this is the son of the guy we had killed in the car accident. Ooh. I want to recover his reputation, since it has been ruined. I know he won't truly rest in peace until I clear his name. My dad would never do anything fraudulent. Then are you aware of the several startup businesses that he tricked in order to receive a larger profit? Since he's a veteran, he has been abusing his position for years. No, you're lying. I was one of the people who Cohen deceived, and you tell me that I'm a liar? Just because he was sweet to his family and occasionally brought you gifts doesn't mean he's a good person overall. No, it can't be. Stop saying crap about him. Refusing to hear anything else, the teen covered their ears to block out anything else Shiloh had to say. I can't even bother accepting the truth. What childish behavior. This is why I dislike children. Okay. Okay, but don't you feel bad for the kid. He's as annoying as his father. Let's do this one. His father passing and ruined reputation is probably affecting him in some way. But he was still bold enough and determined to come all the way to see you. Shiloh stayed silent, and I could tell he was softening up. Looking at the boy started to remind me of myself when I was his. Looking at the boy started to remind me of myself when I was his age. In the past, I too would speak up to my parents' business partners when I disagreed with them. Then my father would scold me for eavesdropping on their conversation. That was one of the many things that made me grow up to be resilient and eager to get what I wanted. Shiloh took the teen's arm before prying it off his ears. Listen to me. I don't want to anymore. Then will you leave right away? Unexpectedly, the businessman placed a hand on Joel's shoulder. It doesn't matter if your dad is a bad person. Just make sure you don't grow up like him. He is not a bad person. If you keep talking back at me, I won't offer you to be your mentor. Wait, you want to be my mentor? Why? You lost a father figure, so who else will teach you to be a successful entrepreneur? I hadn't thought about becoming one in the future yet. Well, if you ever want to pursue that dream or need anything I can help with, give me a call. Shiloh passed his business card to the teen before ruffling his hair. I thought you said my dad tricked you. Why are you helping me? It's so that you can grow up to be a good man, unlike him. I see. Joel's fist tightened as he gripped the business card tightly. I don't know if my dad really is a bad person, and I'm not sure if I can believe you yet. But for now, you seem like a good person. A good person? Why, thank you. Will you, for sure, help me if I give you a call? Depends on your request. I won't ask for anything selfish. What I mean is that I will aid you as long as it is within my abilities. Oh, then thank you, sir. But what should I do about my father's reputation? Put it behind you. Instead, you should be focusing on rebuilding your family's reputation with your own two hands. You're right. Then I guess I'll have to work hard to do that. Thank you, sir. I'll be going home now to tell my mom about my plans then. The teen bowed before quickly running out the door. As the kid left, Shiloh had a smile on his face. Even though he is Cohen's son, I feel strangely at peace offering my assistance. Why do you think I feel that way, Beliel? Endorphins get released when you do a good deed. Is a demon encouraging me to be good? No, I was merely stating the scientific reason. My view of the entrepreneur changed when I saw that there was another side to him. I didn't know you had humility in you. Of course, I'm only human. Shiloh then passed me a cheeky smirk. Were you impressed with me? Why would you ever think a demon would be impressed by a generous act? Yes, why would I think that? Maybe I really did care about that child's future. Or maybe I was just trying out various things in an attempt to win you over. You'll never give up on me, will you? If something is unachievable, I only want it more. Looking at the determination in his eyes, I could tell he was serious. Why do I feel excited whenever I look into his soulless eyes? Soulless? Well, I really hope there is a soul in there, because, we already lost one meal ticket. This was starting to become dangerous territory for me. Later, I went back to hell. Okay, we finished chapter 5. How about an extra long video today, We can go ahead and cover chapter 6 as well. As a Valentine's gift to all you guys. I did say at the beginning that we were going to finish the main story today, even though I didn't realize we were still in chapter 5. But we can do this. Chapter 6, Renin. I traveled to visit Renin at his place of residence. Oddly enough, the living room was a mess when I stepped inside. The middle of the room stood the musician, who wasn't moving an inch. Upon approaching him, I noticed there was worry written all over his face. Why is this place a mess? Were you perhaps throwing a tantrum? I threw a cheeky question at him to rouse a reaction, but all he did was slowly shake his head. It wasn't me. While I was out to grab lunch, someone came in here and did this. We need to move ASAP. I told you this. You mean to say that you were robbed? No. I checked for all my valuables and nothing was stolen. They just trashed this place for whatever reason. Then who could have done this? I don't know. I don't get how someone would know that I was out of the apartment at that moment. Wait, Beliel, you have the ability to find out who did this to me? Unfortunately, no. This is not within my power. I can only locate someone if I know who they are. As I glance around the room to search for any form of evidence, I spot an unusual letter sitting on the table. Not having seen it before, I picked it up to read what was written on it. Why didn't you listen to me when I warned you last time? Do not perform. Renin looked over my shoulder to read the letter. His face grew pale. It's the same person who left a threat last time. They must have known that I was invited to a music show. How did they find out? I announced on my social media, though, I would be attending that show. But now that I know the threat could be serious, should I cancel my attendance? I'm not sure how far they'll go after trashing my apartment. No. Go ahead with the music show. I will ensure that nothing happens to you. I just have to monitor you more often. Alright. In that case, I'll do just that. If someone tries to harm you in any way, death will be inevitable for them. So please, rest assured. I'm relieved now, but you don't have to kill anyone. I mean, someone messing with our meal ticket, we might just kill them. Over the passing days, I kept an eye on the musician at all times to make sure he wouldn't run into any trouble. But no concerning incident occurred after he received the second letter. Time passed, and the day of Renin's music show appearance came. Concerned that something might happen to him on this day, I kept my guard up. In the private room, Renin and I waited patiently for him to get a call from the show's staff. Like the last time, my companion was fidgeting with his thumbs. Are you feeling nervous? Of course. It's only my second time standing on a stage, so I'm not used to it. Then would you like to bite me again today? It's fine. I brought gum this time. Renin then passed a quick glance at me before averting his eyes elsewhere. That's right. First time he was here, he was so nervous, and we're like, just bite us. We offered up our fingers for him to nibble on. You know, for a demon, you're oddly considerate. So I've been told. I don't mind acting wicked upon orders, but rarely do I commit cruelty on my own. It's quite possible that I grew to be less bloodthirsty after living for centuries. Then, would you kill someone if I told you to? Yes. You didn't even bat an eye while answering that. You're really serious, huh? Well, I am far from a human with morals. So, are you interested in inflicting pain upon someone? Our conversation was interrupted when we heard a knock on the door. Is it my turn to prepare to go on stage? While the two of us were still sitting in place, the door opened by itself. Someone entered the room, but luckily I was already in my demon form, so my presence remained hidden. It's Maya again! There you are. Luckily, I thought I got the wrong room for a second there. Maya, what are you doing here? I came to see you, of course. But how did you even get backstage access? I have my ways. Did you come all this way to support me? Actually, it's the opposite. I was wondering if you would cancel your performance and head home right this instant. Why would I even do that? It's not safe out on the stage. What if a prop fell on top of you? Renin cocked his head since he was confused with the answer. Why wouldn't it be safe? I'm sure the staff worked hard to set everything up. Wait, that's not all. The outfit the stylist picked for you is terrible. Huh? How do you know what my clothes are going to be? Caught in her own ramblings, Maya pursed his lips. Please, just don't go up on the stage. Why would I without any reason? Because it's my request. You told me that I was your first fan, didn't you? Okay, that's weird wording. It's like, you told me I was your first fan, didn't I? Am I not special enough for you to listen to my request? You are, but not to that extent. Besides, if you're my fan, then why are you preventing me from going on stage? Don't you want to see my performance? Not anymore. Maya's eyes turned cold as she grabbed the guitar that Renin had bought before smashing it on the ground. What are you doing? You can't perform without a guitar. Are you nuts? I could ask the staff for a spare. You didn't have to break my precious guitar. But why? No matter what I do, why won't you stop going on stage? Hearing the desperation in her voice made me feel suspicious of the human. Renin must have felt the same since his eyes widened in shock. Could it be you're the one threatening me with those letters? Everything else that came out of her mouth was indecipherable mutters. I had to because I had no choice. I don't want you to become famous. Even then, you didn't listen to my letters, so I had to come and stop you myself. But why? I thought you supported me. Feeling betrayed, the musician raised his voice. Yes, but the thing is, I want to be the only one to support you. Oh, you got a crazed fan right out of the gate, buddy. Oh no. Had you been a small indie musician who no one knew or paid attention to, I wouldn't have done all this. You see, I fell in love with you at first sight. I was so happy to have the honor of being your treasured first fan. But my heart ached when I saw how you were getting more popular. The more people who knew and talked about you, the more it hurt. Slowly, you started to get more fans, and it felt like I no longer had a special bond with you. I was now just 1 in 100. I would be someone in the crowd to you. But I didn't want that. I want to be special to you. Are you crazy? We're not in a relationship, so there's no reason for you to be this obsessive. I know you don't love me as I do you, but if I were the only one for you, then you might have. And why the heck would I fall for someone who tried to sabotage my career? This ticked off Maya since her expression turned from sadness to anger. I'm aware that you won't ever like me, but I don't care. I'll be happy as long as no one else can have you. With an unsettling smile now plastered across her face, she approached the musician before backing him into a wall. We need to step in. Beliel, what are you doing? We need to step in and get rid of her. I won't let anyone else have you. When she had her hands gripping Renin's neck, I knew I shouldn't hide any longer. I had to step in since things were turning physical. I came in between the aggressor and the musician before smacking her arm away. You better stop that. Where did you come from? I was sure no one else was in the room. And because you assumed that the two of you were alone, you said some deplorable things. I heard everything. So what? It shouldn't matter to you since you don't have to be a part of this. Renin touched his neck, still in shock that he almost got choked. I'm gonna call security. Why? I only wanted to express my love for you. Since I knew she wasn't gonna relent, I grabbed her skull before digging my nails into her scalp. Hey, let go! There was a poor attempt to remove my grip, but the human strength was no match for mine. Your obsession is abnormal. As much as I like watching humans sin, I have a duty to guard my offering at all cost. Maybe I should break your limbs to ensure that you will never lay a hand on him. What the heck? Stop joking around! To stop the human from yelling and struggling, I smashed her head against the floor. Now that she was completely knocked out from impact, I removed my grip on her. We just went whack. Watching by the sidelines, Renin stared at me with his mouth agape. Well then, I should discard this obsessive human's body before anyone else's notice. Did you kill her? No, she's just unconscious. But I could end her life if you want me to. Don't. That's fine. Why? This person attempted to hurt you, though. Don't you want some form of payback? Killing someone is just too extreme. Then I'll at least wipe away her memories of you so she won't pose a threat in the future. Yeah, that's a good solution. Even when the tension in the room was gone, Renin still had a look of concern on his face. I just wanted to perform for people and have them listen to my music. But this incident with Maya overwhelmed me. What other negative things could come with fame? Do I really want fame? Maybe I should just go back to living an ordinary life, where I can make music without any of this crap happening to me. This is a rare occurrence, so it's highly unlikely that it would happen again. But as I gazed at the musician, the worry across his face made my stomach churn. I had a great urge to ease his troubles. Alright, let's save again. I want you to continue following your dreams. I will protect you no matter the path you choose. I like both of those. Because if he's not sure about the dreams, like, we do want him to continue with his dreams, but I think it should be, I will protect you no matter the path you choose. Whether you want to continue performing or go back to your old life, I will be with you every step of the way. So make sure to think things through before choosing a path to take. Alright. After we parted that day, I left with an unsettling feeling in my chest. I was beginning to grow fond of Renin more and more, but the thought of me leaving him and ending his life in 20 years struck grief upon me. I did not want to go through the same path of killing someone I deeply cared about. Even though 20 years seemed like a long time, I knew it would pass in a blink of an eye. I assumed I had accepted the repercussions of our pact, but it appeared as though I hadn't yet. No longer did I care about consuming his soul. Since I wasn't starving, I could satiate my hunger with some other human. As long as my food wasn't Renin's soul, I would feel assured. After contemplating a little more, I decided to discuss the matter with my offeree himself. Renin, I have a question for you. Go ahead. Are you satisfied? Somewhat, because of you. I mean, people are listening to my music, and that's all I ever wanted. I realized I don't want to become a famous musician, just somebody that has fans here and there, so I guess that means I won't be needing your help to achieve fame. That's good to hear. Why do you ask in the first place? Because I don't want to grant any more wishes for you. Why? Are you upset with me? No, it's the opposite, in fact. You're a good human. You deserve to live a long life. I don't want to take your soul after 20 years and wipe you from existence. For that reason, I've decided to break off our pact. Are you fine with my decision? Yeah, I guess that's fine. It's not like I need anything more from you. Oh, that's cute! Elated that we came to an agreement, I wrapped my arms around his neck. But, if we don't have a pact between us, will you be leaving me? No. As I mentioned before, I will always stay by your side, no matter what. A blush appeared on the musician's face as he smiled bashfully at my answer. I think I'm in love with him. I smirked after hearing his thoughts. Renin seemed like the type to never confess his feelings to me from his mouth. Even though he won't say it to my face, as long as I knew how he felt. I used to be reluctant to grow closer with him, but now it doesn't matter to me anymore. By the way, will you get any consequences for breaking our pact? Most likely I'll be getting an earful from this ancient superior of mine, so the repercussions aren't really that severe. That's a relief, though I feel a bit bad you won't receive anything in return, even though you granted me a few wishes for me in the beginning. Well, if you would like to repay me, maybe you should commit some evil so you can come to hell with me. Hell, huh? Doesn't sound like a pleasant spot for a date. I doubt you're capable of doing anything bad, though, since you're a good human. But you're weirdly nice for a demon, so hell doesn't seem suitable for you as well. Perhaps I've grown too soft. Renin, good ending! Later, I went back to hell. We got a good ending for our first one! Yay! Alright, let's go to my boy. I traveled to visit Lior at his place of residence. I've been waiting for you. The young man ran up to me before clasping my hands tight. Did you want something from me? Yeah, I was hoping you would come and visit. Please, come see me more often from now on. I nodded to the innocent request. It was funny how I was supposed to be this malicious entity, yet I developed an even softer spot for this human. I reached my hand out to stroke his cheek. When I gazed into his eyes, it made me think about how much he had to suffer because of them. Many people in the world deserve pain because of the sins they had committed. But Lior? He had not done anything wrong. It's not right that he had to endure pain just because he was unfortunate enough to have an evil parent. Let's get rid of your curse. Is that possible? How? You're not about to gouge them out, are you? Oh, no, we're not going to gouge out your eyes today. No, I would never do anything that would put you in harm. Then, I've been thinking things through, and I came up with something. Exorcism. Confront your mother. I mean, both are good options, but exorcism. It might just be possible to ask a priest for help. Let's go to a church. Are you sure? I thought demons and priests don't get along. They are annoying, but if it can help you, I'll put my distaste for them aside. Take me to church. Okay, let's see if we, a demon, can help our human friend to get exorcism. This is crazy and I love it. After he agreed to my proposal, I brought Lior to a church nearby, even though the location made me feel discomforted. I'm surprised you can step inside. It may be sacred grounds, but it won't affect me, since I'm not some puny, low-ranked devil. I passed him a grin to reassure him, but my companion still had a look of concern on his face. I spotted a priest walking by, so I rushed to grab him by the shoulder. Excuse me, my friend here needs your help. He got cursed by a demon. The religious figure turned to look at Lior, then back at me. The look of oh my gosh, I can't talk today. The look of doubt on his face was as clear as day. We get pranked a lot by kids like you, so please leave. I don't have time to play long. But I'm serious. Even though he was reluctant, the priest went to check up on Lior. Hi. So, you're cursed by a demon. Yes. You can examine me, Father, but please avoid looking in my eyes. The priest took some time to observe the youth, yet still had a doubtful expression. I don't see it. You look fine to me. Frustrated, I grabbed the priest by the collar. He is not fine at all. Calm down, young man. There's no way to treat a servant of the Lord, or anyone else for that matter. I slowly loosened my grip before letting go of his clothes. Utterly useless. But then again, even if I wasn't able to detect a curse back then, so it would be less likely for a human. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten that angry. Can't you just trust us and try exorcising him? I'm sorry, we can't do anything unless there's serious proof of life-threatening danger. I glanced at Lior, who seems disappointed by the news. I already let him down, so this couldn't happen again. I was determined to make things work. If they needed proof, I just have to give it to them. I split away from my physical body and let it drop to the ground. What? Oh, buddy! When Lior had his mouth gaped from shock, I used that opportunity to enter his body. Possession, dude! When the possession was complete, I was able to remove his limbs at my own will. Now that he was really possessed by a demon, there was no reason for the priest to refuse the exorcism. Hopefully, that will remove the curse. But that would mean I was risking myself as well. We are possessing him and putting our own self at risk. Oh my gosh. Once I was inside, Lior's eyeballs turned black. A demonic presence. The religious figure immediately noticed this change, and he quickly switched from calm to panic. I grabbed his neck just to frighten him even further. Do you wish to die? It was just a threat I had made up on the spur of the moment. With a look of horror on his face, I could tell that it had worked. Lior's voice had deepened since I was controlling him, and the priest likely noticed this change as well. I lessened my grip on his neck to give him the opportunity to escape, and he did. Finally realizing the severity of the situation, the priest ran to grab the other church members and necessary equipment for the exorcism. To provoke them even further, I grabbed one of the pastors and flung them at the wall. It does amuse me to play with them a bit, but I had to remind myself to hold back since I was inside Lior. I'll have to apologize to him later for using his body this way without receiving his permission. Oh, God. When the priest grabbed me to strap me to the chair, I didn't struggle and let them do their thing. I winced when they sprayed holy water on Lior's body. It made me feel hot and unpleasant, but I had to endure it for his sake. The priest recited a holy verse which made me feel nauseated. It made me want to puke. All these repulsive sensations invading my mind and made me tremble. Discomfort soon turned to pain. The more I endured the trial, the more it made me feel like I was being skinned alive. Unable to hold it back, I let out an ear-piercing screech. It all came to a stop when I was forcefully removed from Lior's body. With the last of my weakened strength, I quickly returned to my own body. When the sensations came back to me, I let out a gasp as I sat up from the ground. The exorcism from earlier still had an effect on me since my hands were quivering. Had I been a weaker demon, I knew I would have been wiped from existence. The priest stared at me suspiciously, and all I could do was act coy. You're awake now, young man. Yes, I probably fainted due to fatigue. Since I was no longer inside his body, Lior also gained consciousness. When the priest deemed him to be safe, they removed the straps to set the young man free. Did it work? Are you feeling all right? What happened? Why do I feel weak? You've just been exorcised. What, really? You went through with it? Thank you, Father. Lior excitedly thanked the priest, and they only nodded in response. I've never seen someone look so happy after getting exorcism. You sure are an oddball. Well, I'm just really grateful. All of a sudden, Lior froze as he stared at the priest. Wait, Father, you're not getting mad at me? Why would I be? You're looking into my eyes, right? Yes. Now even more joyous, the young man spun around excitedly. I'm no longer cursed! Please don't move around and take a rest. You've just been through an intense exorcism. You should head back home after you're recovered, and take your friend with you. He fainted for some reason, but he seems to be awake now. Friend? Wait, where's Billy? I cleared my throat before he could finish saying my name. It would have been dangerous if the priest were to learn my identity. Yeah, it would! When he heard my voice, Lior turned to me before stumbling over to my location. He joined me on the floor to check on my condition. What happened to you? Before I blacked out, I remember seeing you fall to the floor. I thought you had died or something. Thank goodness. My apologies, but there was a reason for my actions. You did something to make the exorcism happen, didn't you? I didn't give him an answer, since it would surely worry him if I told him I risked my life. Don't mind me. All that matters is that you're no longer cursed. You're now free to live a normal life. I am, huh? It's hard to process that I'd be able to live without anyone hating me randomly anymore. Feels like a dream. So, what did you want to do first now that you no longer have a curse? I want to make a pact with you again. Since my soul isn't bound to anything, I can give it to you now. Why? Do you wish for something? Yes. My only wish is I want to be with you forever and ever. You fool. A pact is not necessary for that. Why do you think I'm still here? I'd probably get into trouble for Lucifer now that I have one less soul to harvest. But it doesn't matter, as long as I get to see Lior happy. Lior, good ending! Yeah! Later, I went back to hell. We are getting all the good endings. Hopefully we'll get a good ending for this one too. For, Shiloh. But, I do want to go back and get all the bad endings. Because there's alternative good endings and there are bad endings. And then there's actually a Lucifer ending. Which, heck yeah, we got to get that. So, even though I'm going to finish all the main routes in this, I am wanting to make another video of us trying to get all the other endings. Would you guys like to see that? Let me know down below if you do. But, okay, this is an extra long episode, oh my goodness. But, let's finish Shiloh. I traveled to visit Shiloh at his place of residence. But, he wasn't inside. I used my abilities to locate the man and realized that he was at an unfamiliar place. Out of curiosity, I decided I would pay him a visit there instead. The air in the room was grim as a strong aurora excluded from the businessman. Even when I stood next to him, he didn't bat an eye. You'll ruin that pretty face of yours if you keep that stern look on your face. How did you know I was here? You're my offeree. Wherever you go, I will always know where you are. That makes you sound like a stalker. I assure you, I don't keep my actions secretive. I appear before you whenever I'm present. Anyway, what's on your mind that's causing you to scowl? I'm just frustrated. Apparently, my father is succumbing to his illness. He doesn't have that long to live. To be upset about this. You do have a heart after all. Perhaps I don't, because that part doesn't faze me one bit. The birth and death of a human comes and goes. He's a good man who lived a fulfilling, happy life. There's nothing to grieve about his eventual passing. You don't even have an ounce of sadness? Of course I do. But what will crying about it do? I could remove his illness if it's nothing life-threatening. It'd be selfish of me to force him to live longer out of my own will. The man is content with his fate. If his father's personality was just like his son's, I could easily imagine why they would have that mindset. Then, what's causing you trouble? Well, the reason I'm upset is about what is written on his will. I assumed you didn't care about your parents' inheritance or money. I don't, and couldn't care less. But what bothers me is that on the will, it stated that most of his inheritance will go to my brother. An insult to me, is it not? The reason was apparently that my brother was deemed so incompetent that he needed the inheritance to suffice his spending throughout his life. He's like, I don't want my brother to get it. Well, you didn't want it. Oh gosh, that really irks me. He's a parasite to society who stays at home all day doing nothing whatsoever. All he knows is how to spend money recklessly. I've tolerated him being spoilt to death, but this is just too much. This is far too insulting for me. Doesn't the will make sense since you're capable and self-sufficient? You don't need the money. And what? Let my parasite of a brother live off my parents' hard-earned cash? He clearly doesn't know the value of money and hard work. If he did, I wouldn't have minded as much. I took a glance around the unfamiliar room. Is this your parents' residence? Indeed, I came to pay my ill father a visit. This is actually my childhood bedroom. All of a sudden, we heard a knock on the door. Come in. With his permission, the door creaked open, revealing an elderly gentleman. Oh, that's his dad. Father, what brings you here? You should be resting on your bed. How can I rest when you stormed away in the middle of our conversation? It happened to get heated up at that moment, so I came here to cool down. You have nothing to worry about. But I've never seen you get that frustrated before. Right. It was unusual of me to show this unsightly side of me, and for that, you have my apologies. Okay, guys, I'm trying to keep the voices straight, but they're starting to, meld together. So I apologize, and also my throat's starting to hurt, because this is a long video. Shiloh, why are you apologizing for that? You don't have to hide your emotions from me. We're family. But aren't you the one who taught me to hide your true self, and only to show the best side of you to others? Yes, but not towards your loved ones. Well, in that case, I do have someone special who knows who I really am. But what about us, your family? I'm sorry for instilling the mindset in you. I never thought you would take things to this extreme. Is that what made you close yourself from us? You wouldn't even join us for family dinners anymore. You barely visited us till now. The reason for that is because I refuse to eat at the same table as that incompetent brother of mine. Don't be like that. He's your family. Did my decision to give your brother most of my inheritance really bother you that much? Yes. Shiloh, you're a reliable and hard-working man. I am proud of you for that. Though there is one thing you lack, and that is modesty. Your brother may not have a businessman brain like we do, but he has modesty and compassion. He has been taking care of me ever since I grew old and weak. We have servants for that. But it feels different to be taken care of by your own son. The two of you can really learn a lot from each other. Before I die, I really wish to see my sons getting along with each other. I guess that dream is too far-fetched. Though your brother is more ready to reconnect with you. Since Shiloh didn't respond, the old man just let out a sigh before leaving the room. I lack modesty? Shiloh turned to look at me with a pained expression on his face. You're surprised? I thought you were well aware. I am, but hearing that my brother is better than me in something was unsettling to hear. You're so competitive towards your own family member. Family. About what my dad said when he hoped the two of us would get along. What were your thoughts on that matter? Alrighty, we're saving this one, of course. You should reconcile with your brother. You should think about what you want. Reconcile with your brother, dude. Maybe I should. Since it's my father's wish before he passes, I might as well. But how am I supposed to fix our bond? I have ignored my brother for years, so I doubt he would feel comfortable around me, even if my father says otherwise. I wouldn't feel at ease either. You don't have to immediately put yourself in a scenario with only the two of you present. Why not an event with the whole family so it wouldn't be as awkward? From listening in on the conversation earlier, it sounded like you treat your whole family like strangers and not just your brother. Shiloh thought for a moment, as he usually does before making a decision. Father did mention that it's been a while since we had a family dinner together. Maybe I should organize one tonight. Sounds like a good idea. But may I request something from you? Please, will you join me at the dinner table and meet my family? Why would you want me there? I feel as though I'd be more comfortable with you around, and it has been a while since I've partaken in one after all. Because it was an odd request, I wasn't sure if I should go through with his wish. There will be wine. That is not enough to convince me, since I know you have an entire cabinet filled with them at your own home. Sure is hard to bribe a demon. Please accept my invitation, Beliel. Shiloh smiled sweetly at me, making my heart squeeze. I tried my best to refrain from blushing at that moment. I need you. Pleading with that charming face of his, how could I refuse? I suppose it wouldn't hurt to join you. Are you nervous about meeting my entire family? I'm more anxious about the fact that I've never been invited to a dinner before. Not even once. No. It's not a typical occurrence for a demon to be invited to a feast by humans. Well, there is a first time for everything. Shiloh took my hand in his and planted a quick kiss on my knuckles. Then I shall go arrange dinner plans. Thank you for agreeing to come with me. Evening rolled around, and I was supposed to meet Shiloh's family for dinner. He forced me to change into a white suit. My outfit was inappropriate for dinner, he said. It's supposed to be an informal feast with your family. Did it really matter what I wore? But you look nice in it. Uncomfortable in my suit, I followed Shiloh to the dining room, where everyone awaited us. You're here! It was a surprise when you told us you wanted to have dinner with us, but I'm glad you did. I'm glad to have you here, brother. My apologies for the way I treated everyone like strangers. From now on, I'll try to change. I'll try to be a good son and a brother. I'll do my best to visit often and reconnect with everyone. Terrific. Looking at you feels like I'm looking at a new man. What made you have a sudden change of heart, may I ask? This man right beside me was the reason. Attention then turned to me as I nervously smiled at his family. This is awkward, even for a demon. I invited him to dinner. I hope you all don't mind. Not at all. A friend of yours is a friend of ours. So, who is this young man? He looks like a gang member with that face tattoo. The brother's joke made everyone laugh, and I awkwardly chuckled along with them. I assure you, I'm not particularly an evil human. Particularly, huh? You have a strange way of wording things. Before he could continue interrogating me, Shiloh quickly cut him off. Anyway, let me properly introduce our guest. His name is... I immediately hushed him before whispering for him only to hear. Don't say my real name. Instead, use a fake one. It can't be revealed that I'm a demon. Shiloh nodded before returning his attention back to the family. My dear friend here is someone who is special to me. He was the one who changed me to become a better man. He opened my eyes and my heart. Oh, so you two are lovers? Are we? Shiloh secretly passed a wink at me. This man is really persistent about wanting to be with me. Have to admit that he intrigued me more than any other human I ever met. I might just accept his confession and give in to my desires for now. Shiloh, good ending. I'm surprised Shiloh has a good ending. End! We reached the end screen! And they booted us back to the start. Okay. This has been a very long episode, but we completed chapters 5 and 6, and we got 3 endings. That means we have 11 endings to go. I think we'll get them a lot quicker than these, because we can already just, bounce back to any chapter we want. But, what did you guys think? did you like the endings for each of them, or are you looking forward to the alternative endings? Like, for some reason, a good ending doesn't just sit right with me for Shiloh. He needs a darker ending, which I'm sure there is. Okay, let me know down below what your favorite ending has been so far, and if you would like to see a bonus part with all the other endings being achieved. Okay, I'm gonna go drink me some tea or something because my throat is killing me now. And I hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. And I will see you next time, guys. Bye.